Let me tell you something right out of the gate. Strength doesn't show up in the perfect moments. It shows up in the mess. It shows up when you're tired, when you're hurt, when you've been overlooked, underestimated, and told you're too much or not enough. Being a strong woman doesn't mean never breaking down. It means breaking down and then getting back up anyway. Let's cut through the noise. This is not about pretending to have it all together. This is not about smiling through pain or being some unrealistic version of what the world says a strong woman should look like. This is about grit. This is about boundaries. This is about getting crystal clear on who you are, what you want, and not apologizing for it. Not shrinking yourself, not waiting for someone to give you permission. Strength begins when you decide that you're not available for anything less than what you deserve. Now, you want to know how to be a strong woman? You start by making one promise to yourself. I will not abandon myself again. That's the core, because every time you silence your voice to make someone else comfortable, every time you put your needs last, every time you ignore your gut because someone else thinks they know better, you chip away at your own power. You've got to stop asking people who don't have to live with your decisions what you should do. You have to stop outsourcing your intuition, stop negotiating your worth. Your life is your responsibility, not your mother's, not your boss's, not your partner's, yours. That's not always an easy truth, but it is a liberating one. Let's talk about fear for a second, because fear is what keeps most women small. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of being too loud, too assertive, too emotional. But here's the truth. Fear isn't the enemy. It's the compass. You don't run from it. You lean into it. You sit with it. You ask, what are you here to teach me? Because behind every fear is the opportunity for growth. And when you start facing your fears instead of avoiding them, you stop living in reaction and start living in intention. You know what else strong women do? They take up space. They walk into rooms like they belong there because they do. They raise their hand even when they're not 100% ready. They stop waiting until they feel qualified. If you're waiting to feel ready, you'll never do the damn thing. Confidence is not the prerequisite, it's the result. Action is what builds confidence, not theory, not perfection, not waiting for the stars to align. You have to take the first messy, uncomfortable, imperfect step, and then keep going. Strong women have boundaries like fortresses. Let's get real. You are not obligated to set yourself on, but none of that happens until you stop trying to be liked by everyone. The need to be liked will keep you stuck in cycles of people-pleasing, burnout, and resentment. And let me tell you something, not everyone is gonna like you. Some people won't like your strength, some people won't like your voice, some people won't like your success. That's not your problem. That's their discomfort. Your job is not to be liked. Your job is to be you. Fully, boldly, unapologetically. Here's another truth. Strong women take radical ownership of their lives. That means no more blaming, no more excuses, no more I can't because. It means getting honest about what you want and what's standing in your way. Even if what's standing in your way is you, especially if it's you. And let's be clear, we all get in our own way. The voice in your head that says, who do you think you are, is the one you need to confront head on. That voice is not your truth. That voice is your fear, and it's been lying to you for too long. Let's talk about self-talk. You can't be a strong woman if you're tearing yourself down all day. The words you say to yourself matter more than anything anyone else could say. You've got to stop calling yourself names you'd never call a friend. You've got to stop rehearsing your failures like a highlight reel and start celebrating your wins, even the small ones, especially the small ones, because they build momentum. They build belief, and belief is where strength lives. You want to be a strong woman? You've got to have your own back. That means being your own biggest advocate. That means speaking up for yourself even when your voice shakes. That means trusting your gut even when it doesn't make sense to anyone else. That means refusing to shrink, hide, or water yourself down just to fit in. You are not here to be palatable. You are not here to make everyone else comfortable. You are here to live fully, love deeply, and lead boldly. This is your life. No one else is going to live it for you. Let's talk about standards, not just for other people, for yourself. A strong woman doesn't wait around hoping someone else will rise to meet her. She rises first. She leads by example. She sets the tone. She defines her standards clearly, lives by them, and never lowers them to make someone else feel more comfortable. You don't get what you want, you get what you tolerate. And if you tolerate crumbs, you'll never feast. If you settle, you teach the world how to treat you. This is where discipline comes in. I'm not talking about rigid control or perfectionism. I'm talking about the discipline of self-respect, the discipline of following through on what you say you're going to do, the discipline of not ghosting on your own dreams. You cannot build a strong life on weak habits. If you say you want more, but your actions don't line up, that gap is where the frustration lives. That gap is where resentment grows. A strong woman closes that gap. She gets clear on what matters and then builds her life around those priorities, not the other way around. And let's just say this straight up. Being a strong woman doesn't mean being invincible. You are not a robot. You're allowed to feel the fear and still move forward. You're allowed to feel the doubt and still choose to believe. You're allowed to cry, scream, fall apart, and still be a powerhouse. Because strength isn't just in the rise, it's in the recovery. You recover every time. You stop shaming yourself for struggling. Let's talk about the people in your life. A strong woman is ruthless about her circle. She does not keep people around who drain her, doubt her, or disrespect her. She knows that energy is contagious, and if she's surrounded by small-minded, judgmental, or toxic people, that's the energy she's going to soak in. You need people in your life who speak life into you, people who challenge you, support you, and hold you accountable to the vision you have for yourself. And if you don't have those people yet, you start becoming that person for yourself first. You build the energy, you create the momentum, you set the example, the right people will catch up. Here's another truth bomb. A strong woman isn't afraid of being alone because she's not lonely, she's aligned. There's a difference. When you're strong in who you are, you stop filling your life with distractions just to avoid silence. You stop chasing attention and start commanding respect. You realize that peace is more valuable than company. You'd rather be alone in truth than surrounded by people who require you to lie to yourself. That's power. That's freedom. And let's be real, some of the strongest women you know didn't become that way because life was kind. They became that way because life wasn't. Because they were forged in fire, because they had no choice but to grow through what tried to break them. And guess what? They did. You did. You're still here. You've survived heartbreak, disappointment, rejection, betrayal. You've walked through hell and made it back. That's not weakness, that's proof. That's your evidence. And sometimes, when your confidence wavers, you need to look back at your own receipts. Look at what you've overcome. Look at what you've learned. Look at how far you've come, not how far you still have to go. Because a strong woman doesn't measure herself by perfection, she measures herself by progress. Progress is power, forward is forward. You know what else makes a woman strong? Choosing herself over and over again. Not in a selfish way, but in a self-honoring way. Because if you don't choose you, who will? If you don't believe in you, who will? You're not here to prove your worth. You're here to own it. You're not here to chase love. You're here to embody it. You're not here to beg for opportunities. You're here to create them. That means betting on yourself. It means showing up when it's uncomfortable. It means speaking up when it's easier to stay quiet. It means being bold when it's safer to stay small. It means doing the work even when no one's watching. Because strong women don't perform, they embody. They embody resilience. They embody clarity. They embody grace. They fall, they rise. They fail, they rise. They lose, they rise again, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. And let me tell you this, you don't have to wait for anyone to give you permission. You already have the power. You've just been talked out of it by society, by fear, by old stories that no longer serve you. But guess what? You can rewrite those stories. Right now, you are the author, you are the narrator, you are the leading character. And the plot twist? You've always been strong, you just forgot. So here's your reminder. Strength isn't loud all the time. It's not always this explosive burst of action or a fierce clapback. Sometimes strength is quiet. It's in the stillness. It's in the decision to pause instead of react. It's in the moment you take a breath instead of lashing out. It's when you sit with your thoughts, when you face your feelings, when you allow yourself to feel instead of numb out. Don't mistake stillness for weakness. Stillness is often the birthplace of clarity. And clarity is power. A strong woman knows that before she can take bold action, she needs to know where she's going, not just what the world expects from her, what she wants, what makes her soul come alive, what she can't stop thinking about late at night, what lights her up, what breaks her heart wide open. Because when you know what you're fighting for, the fear doesn't matter as much anymore. The obstacles shrink, the distractions fade, but to get there, you have to get honest. That means stripping away all the layers of who you've been told to be. The good girl mask, the people pleaser role, the overachiever, the fixer, the one who carries the emotional weight of everyone else. You are allowed to put all of that down. You are allowed to look in the mirror and say, this isn't working for me anymore. That's not quitting, that's evolving. You are allowed to grow beyond the version of you that made other people comfortable. Strength is choosing growth even when it costs you approval, because growth will cost you. It will cost you the old version of yourself. It might cost you relationships that can't handle your expansion. It might cost you routines that kept you small. But what you gain, freedom, integrity, alignment, a life that feels like yours, that's what this is really about. Not just being strong in the eyes of others, but feeling powerful in your own skin. Feeling peace when you're alone. Feeling joy in your own presence. Feeling grounded, clear, intentional. That's the real flex. Not how well you perform, but how deeply you trust yourself when no one's watching. And here's the thing about trust. It's built through evidence. You build it by showing up for yourself consistently, not perfectly, consistently. You build it by keeping small promises to yourself. You said you'd go for a walk, go. You said you'd stop answering that text, stop. You said you'd wake up early and write that book, start that course, clean up your space, speak up in the meeting, follow through. Every time you honor your word to you, you build trust. And every time you break it, every time you ghost your goals, every time you betray your own needs, you send the message to your brain, I can't count on myself. That erodes strength. That creates insecurity. That's why showing up matters, not for the result, but for the identity you build along the way. You don't become strong in one big leap. You become strong one choice at a time. Strong women are decisive. They don't live in limbo. They don't spin their wheels overthinking every move. They decide and then they deal with whatever comes because they know indecision is a silent killer. It drains your energy. It clouds your mind. It keeps you in a cycle of analysis, self-doubt, and second guessing. At some point, you have to just choose and know that even if it's not perfect, you can adjust, you can pivot, you can learn and grow. There is no failure when you are committed to growth. There is only feedback. And feedback is your fuel. You can't be afraid to get it wrong. You can't be afraid to fall. Strong women expect setbacks, and they rise anyway. They don't crumble at criticism. They don't shut down when someone disagrees. They take the lesson if it's useful and leave the rest, because they know who they are. They don't need to be validated by every voice in the room, especially not voices that don't know the weight of their walk. Let's talk about standards again, this time in relationships. A strong woman doesn't beg for bare minimum. She doesn't chase attention. She doesn't stay where she's disrespected, devalued, or diminished. She doesn't try to convince someone to see her worth, because she knows her worth and she protects it. She knows that love should never cost her her peace, her dignity, or her sense of self. A strong woman knows that being chosen isn't the win. Choosing yourself first is. She'd rather be single and whole than coupled and crushed. She'd rather be real and alone than fake and accepted, because she's done performing. She's done playing small to keep the peace. She's done settling for potential. If someone wants to be in her life, they better come correct. They better meet her where she is, because she's not shrinking to fit anymore. That kind of strength doesn't make you cold, it makes you clear. And clarity is what saves your life. It saves your energy. It saves you years of trying to make broken things work. A strong woman doesn't need to be told her standards are too high, because she's not asking for perfection. She's asking for partnership. She's not asking to be worshiped. She's asking to be seen, respected, heard, supported. And if someone can't do that, that's their limitation, not hers. Because at the end of the day, she's not waiting to be rescued, she is the rescue. There comes a moment in every strong woman's life where she looks around at the things she's built, the job, the family, the checklists, the roles, and asks a powerful question. Is this it? And not because she's ungrateful, not because she doesn't appreciate what she has, but because deep down, she knows there's more. More of her that's untapped, more that she's meant for, more waiting to come alive. And that moment, that questioning, that's not a breakdown, that's the awakening. Purpose doesn't always show up like a lightning bolt. Sometimes it shows up as a whisper, a nudge, a quiet discomfort in a life that looks good on paper but doesn't feel good in your soul. And that feeling, that's your intuition calling you forward, not away from what you've done, but into who you're becoming. A strong woman doesn't ignore that call. She leans in. She gets curious. She starts asking herself deeper questions. What am I here to do? What breaks my heart wide open? What makes me forget to check my phone? What do I keep talking myself out of? And why? That's where purpose starts. Not with perfection, not with a business plan, not with someone handing you a roadmap. It starts with honesty. And sometimes honesty is uncomfortable because it asks you to admit that the life you've worked hard for might not be the one that lights you up. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it's the key to your next level. Because staying in something just because it's safe isn't strength, it's stagnation. And a strong woman doesn't settle for staying stuck. She gives herself permission to evolve, to pivot, to try again, to dream again, to let go of the version of success that someone else handed her and define it for herself. And defining your purpose, that takes courage, because the moment you start claiming what you want, fully, out loud, the world will test you. People will question you, doubt you, project their fears onto you. They'll say things like, "Isn't that risky? Don't you already have a good job? Are you sure that's realistic?" And in that moment, you get to decide who you're going to listen to, their fear or your vision. A strong woman backs herself even when no one else does yet. Because purpose doesn't need permission, it needs commitment. And commitment doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It means you're willing to keep showing up, even when it's messy, even when it's unclear, even when the results don't come fast enough. Purpose is not a destination, it's a way of living, a way of choosing, a way of being. You don't chase it, you become it. That means saying yes to the things that scare you and no to the things that drain you. It means listening to your gut more than the outside noise. It means creating a life that matches your definition of fulfillment, not someone else's expectation of you. Let's get something clear. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You don't have to uproot your life and start over to live with purpose. But you do have to stop abandoning yourself. You do have to stop talking yourself out of what lights you up. You do have to stop believing the lie that your dreams are too much, too late, or not for someone like you. If you feel it, it's for you. That vision in your heart, that idea you keep pushing to the side, that longing that doesn't go away no matter how much you try to stay busy, that's not random. That's not accidental. That's calling. And calling doesn't go away. It waits patiently until you're ready to say yes, until you're brave enough to ask, what if I actually went for it? A strong woman asks the question, and then she starts moving, even if it's just a baby step. She researches the idea. She signs up for the course. She books the meeting. She sets the alarm. She carves out 1 hour a day to work on the thing that sets her soul on fire, because she knows momentum matters. She knows her purpose can't grow if she keeps it buried. She waters it daily, not for applause, not for status, for alignment, for peace, for the life that feels like hers. And here's the truth. Living your purpose won't always be glamorous. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes it looks like rejection, silence, and slow progress. But the strong woman doesn't stop, because she's not in it for quick wins. She's in it for a legacy. Purpose isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become. And becoming her, the most aligned, alive, powerful version of yourself, that's what strength looks like. That's what the world needs more of. Women who stop waiting, who stop apologizing, who stop pretending and start becoming. You want to be a strong woman? Start living on purpose. Start trusting the whisper. Start showing up like your dreams are valid, because they are. So here you are. You've walked through fire. You've felt the weight of doubt, fear, heartbreak, pressure, and pain. And you're still standing, still breathing, still showing up. And if no one's told you this today, let me say it loud and clear. That is strength. Strength isn't about pretending you've got it all figured out. It's not about smiling through the storm or making everyone else comfortable while you slowly shrink inside. Strength is raw, it's real, it's in the moments when you refuse to give up on yourself, even when it would be easier to fold. It's when you say, I don't know what's next, but I know I deserve more than this. A strong woman knows when it's time to fight and when it's time to let go. She knows when to rest and when to rise. She knows her peace is worth protecting, her voice is worth using, and her life is worth living on her terms. She doesn't just survive, she decides. She decides that her past will not define her future, that her mistakes are not her identity, that the love she gives to everyone else is something she also deserves to receive, that her boundaries aren't mean, they are sacred. She doesn't chase love, she becomes love. She doesn't beg for approval, she embodies self-respect. She doesn't look for permission, she gives it to herself. And that doesn't mean she's fearless. It means she moves with the fear. She shows up scared, messy, unsure, but she shows up anyway. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to keep going in spite of it. There will be moments when people don't understand your choices, when they judge your growth, when they try to pull you back into who you used to be. And in those moments, you'll have a choice. Shrink to be liked or stand tall and be free. Choose freedom. There will be moments when your path feels unclear, when the results don't come fast enough, when you wonder if all the effort is worth it. And in those moments, you'll have a choice: quit or keep going. Choose momentum. And there will be moments when you're tired, when the weight of it all feels too heavy, when you just want someone to show up for you for once. And in those moments, remember, it's okay to rest. It's okay to break. It's okay to need help. Strength isn't about doing it all alone. It's about knowing when to reach out, when to ask, when to receive. You don't have to carry it all. You just have to carry you. Because here's the thing, you are already enough. not when you lose the weight, not when you land the promotion, not when you get the ring, the praise, the recognition. Right now, in this breath, in this body, in this moment. Enough. The world taught you to doubt it, to constantly measure yourself, to apologize for your power, to silence your instincts, to mold yourself into something easier to digest. But strong women unlearn that. They remember who they were before the world told them who to be. They reclaim their voice, their joy, their space, and they stop waiting for someone else to choose them. They choose themselves every single day. And when you do, something shifts. You stop looking outside for answers you've always had inside. You stop tolerating things that drain you. You stop questioning your worth based on how other people treat you. You stop giving away your time, your energy, your light to things that don't feed your soul. You rise, not in spite of what you've been through, because of it. Because strength isn't something you find in a book or a podcast or a quote on Instagram. It's built in the moments when you're doubting yourself and you choose to show up anyway. When you're exhausted and you choose to try again. When you've been knocked down and you choose to rise again. Wiser, louder, clearer. That's what it means to be a strong woman. It's not a title. It's not a performance. It's not a trend. It's a way of living. And you get to choose it. Right now, you get to look in the mirror and decide, I am done dimming my light. I am done apologizing for existing. I am done waiting for life to happen to me. From this moment forward, I make the rules. I protect my peace. I trust my gut. I follow my joy. I speak my truth. I honor my boundaries. I choose my future. And if I fall, I get up stronger. If I cry, I let it out and keep walking. If I break, I rebuild with gold in my cracks. Because strong women don't stay broken. They rise again and again.